Okay. Hopefully the stream is all good now. I just muted my stream on the side, so hopefully that's better. Let's see. I think I'm gonna turn up the volume on the music a little. If anyone's in here, let me know how that sounds. All right. I'm just going to do a little bit of OpenGL for about 40 minutes. I want to finish the challenges. Okay, so we have wireframe mode. Interesting.
Quickly be able to switch between different VBOs. So let's go back and put VAO. So great, now we're done with the shaders. So you would be tempted to press run, but nothing is gonna happen because we haven't done anything with our vertices. We haven't even told OpenGL how to interpret them. So let's do that now. So sending stuff between the CPU and the GPU is kind of slow. So when you do send stuff, you want to send it into big batches. These big batches are called buffers. Do not confuse them with the front and back buffers from the last tutorial though. So let's create a vertex buffer object where we'll store our vertex data. And as always, we're going to use a reference integer for it. Now, the VBO is actually an array of references, but since we only have one object, we have to find it. In order to do that, we make use of another object called a vertex array object. This stores another underscore, and again, choose between draw, read, and copy. Draw means that the vertices will be modified and be used to draw an image on the screen, and you can imagine what the other two do. So great, now we have a nicely packed object with our vertex data, but OpenGL doesn't know where to even find it. In order to do that, we make use of another object called a vertex array object. This stores pointers to one or more VBOs and tells OpenGL how to interpret them. VAOs exist in order to quickly be able to switch between different VBOs. So let's go back and put VAO in front of VBO. Now let's generate the VAO using GL gen vertex array, seeing that we only have one object and pointing to the VAO reference. Make sure you generate the VAO before the VBO. The ordering is very important. Now let's find the VAO so that we can work with it. Now let's configure it so that OpenGL knows how to read the VBO. We'll do that by using the function glVertex attribute pointer. First, we pass the index of the vertex attribute we want to use. A vertex attribute is a way of communicating with a vertex shader from the outside. I'll talk more about this in the tutorial for shaders. The first input is going to be the position of the vertex attribute, which in our case is 0. The next input is how many values we have per vertex. In our case, that's 3 because we have 3 floats. Next, we're going to tell what kind of values we have. We just have floats. Now, the next input only matters if we have the coordinates as integers, but we don't have that, so just write in gl underscore false. Now we have to give the sprite of our vertices, which is just the amount of data between each vertex. In our case, since we have 3 floats, then that is just 3 times the size of one float. And the last thing is called the offset, which is a pointer to where our vertices begin in the array. But since our vertices begin right at the start of the array, we're going to give this weird pointer void. So finally, we've configured the vertex attribute. Now, in order to use it, we need to enable it using gl enable binding extremely our main function and our line here. So one and now let me certain implementation of. In the last tutorial, I taught you how to make a triangle. So now we're going to build on top of that by introducing the concept of index buffers. As you hopefully remember, we can draw a triangle by telling OpenGL to use the triangle.
Okay. So I'm going to do the exercises. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I actually was able to understand most of what was going on yesterday, so I'm going to kind of read through my notes. And then I'm going to do the exercises here. So our first thing is we have a managed graphics pipeline. So OpenGL takes 3D coordinates that turn to 2D coordinates, and then those 2D coordinates turn into pixels. We can do these steps in parallel. Shaders are written using GLSL. A list of 3D coordinates is equal to a triangle, which is an array of vertex data. Our vertex data is a collection of vertices. And then our pipeline steps are our vertex shader takes an input, which is our single vertex. Our primitive assembly stage takes an input, all of the vertices from the vertex shader that form one or more primitives, and assembles all of the points into primitive shape given. Our output is passed to rasterization. And then our alpha test and blending stage. So our vertex input is our coordinates. Then we have our buffers. Our GL buffer data copies the user-defined data into the currently bound buffer. So we have our vertex shader, which is a modern OpenGL. Requires that we set up at least a vertex shader and a fragment shader if we want to do some rendering. Okay. Fragment shader, it's all about calculating the color output. Whereas the vertex shader is it's a good question. Let me go back up to the vertex shader. Our vertex shader is one of the shaders that are programmable by people like us. Gotcha. So our vertex shader takes our position and then sets that position to a vec4. So we have our coordinates and the okay. I think that makes sense. Yeah, so our next goal, so our exercise now, going through all of this, the only thing that I'm kind of confused on are the element buffer objects and the vertex array objects. I might look more into that, but let me see if I can start the exercises. So try to draw two triangles next to each other using GL draw arrays. Two triangles next to each other using GL draw arrays by adding more vertices to your data. Hi, they're streaming early. Yeah, I was gonna stream at 7, but I ended up just feeling like it was a good time before I got too busy with other stuff. So yeah, I'm just going through. Right now, I'm just doing the last few exercises that to practice understanding the concepts in this chapter, so that I can move on. And yeah, it's been going good. I saw your comment on my video. I appreciate that. There's double audio. That's good to know. Thank you. Do you hear my voice twice? Okay, one sec. Like echo. Oh, okay. Maybe my mic is too loud. Okay, tell me if that sounds okay. Let me know if that sounds better. Got fixed now? Okay, awesome. Let me get my music going again. I forgot about that. And let me know if the music's too loud or anything. Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Okay, I checked it on my end. Should be good. Okay, so we're gonna use GL draw arrays by adding more vertices to your data. Okay, so our first exercise is we want to draw two triangles next to each other. So GL draw arrays. Let's see where that is defined first, because we should only have to we could probably just define our triangle, like our second triangle. So let me see. Let's see. Adding more vertices to your data. So I'm wondering if I could do something like just adding another vertices object or variable. I guess this would probably be, let's see, if we're thinking about this on a graph, let's see. I think this would be Desmos. Oops, not graph. Okay. So let's see, if we had our points here, our current indices go to 0.5. So 0.5. Okay, those are indices. I don't want to. I'm trying to see if I should do this with. I could probably just reuse the vertices and then. Let me see. It's really hard because like I'll remember stuff when I'm really like in the zone, and then I kind of forget it. So that's a good reason why I'm revisiting it today. Also, we got another subscriber. Awesome. Thank you guys. So GL draw elements. Okay. Let's see. So, oops, I closed my terminal on accident. So then we'd want to do /bin main. Okay, so this is our rectangle. So if we wanted to just do two triangles, I'm going to comment this out for now. And then I'm going to say our regular vertices will just want to... do something like this, and then we don't want our EBO at the moment. Okay, so we got our triangle again. Now we want to do this same thing essentially, I believe, but we want to create more. So I'm going to call this vertices 2, and maybe this can just be like 1.0, 1.0, 0, 1.0, 1.0. This can be 1.0. Okay, and then we need to make a different, I'm pretty sure we should, let me look. When making two triangles in OpenGL, do I need to make another video? Okay. You can store both triangles' vertex data in a single VBO and use GLDraw arrays or GLDraw elements with appropriate offsets. Okay, so that means I could probably take our vertices right here and just add them. Instead of doing a whole new vertices object or variable, like creating a new vertex, it's probably easier to just do something like this. And then one VAO with multiple VBOs is valid. Okay, one VBO is sufficient. You can store both triangles vertex data and use GLDraw arrays or GLDraw elements. Okay, and then this one, so we're gonna start at 3, and then it's gonna go to the 6, I believe. Okay, that's incorrect. I'm trying to think. GLDraw arrays. Okay. So I'm trying to think what our other vertex data would be. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing okay. I know this is kind of a slower stream. I'm just trying to get these exercises done. So let's read the exercise. Try to draw two triangles next to each other using GLDraw arrays by adding more vertices to your data. Okay. So that makes sense. I'm just confused. Vertices for one triangle next to another in OpenGL. Okay, so this can be our first triangle. This is our first triangle. And then our second triangle would just be offset by negative 0.5. So let's look at this. Triangle 2, triangle 1. So we have 0.5, 0.5, so that's Desmos, or graphing, not calculator, graphing simulator. Trade. Simple line. Alright, let's see. I'm trying to think, I mean, I could use Desmos, but yeah, I'll just use Desmos. Okay, so if we have let's look at our points. So we have 0.5, 0.5, 0, so just 0, 5, 0, 5. I don't know. I think I just need to set y is equal to 0.5, or 0.5 x is equal to 0.5. Guys, I haven't done this in forever, so this is so off, obviously. Let's see. Oh, not 0, this would just be 0.0. Okay, so this is where our first one would be. Our next one would be 0.5. And then x would be negative 0.5. And then y would be negative 0.5. X would be equal to 0.5. I feel so dumb right now. I haven't done graphing stuff in forever, and I'm not good at math, so. Anyways, we know that these vertices are probably good, so. And then we just want to essentially. Okay, so we got one triangle. This, we wouldn't need this. Okay, that's not two triangles next to each other though. Also, I think it's giving me. So we got one triangle. draw our first triangle. So I'm assuming I need to do the same thing twice. Okay, so we got two triangles drawn. I'm so confused. But they're not drawing in the right position. Unless... It could be that my triangles are wrong. Like the wrong vertices. So let me retry that. Yeah, so... We got this working. So maybe what I need to do is I'll offset it by like... Okay, yeah, so that did something. Not 2, it's only between 0 and 1. Oh. This looks so funny. You guys can see now I'm just making blobs. This is just great because I don't understand geometry super well. Well, not even just geometry, but like I haven't done anything with this kind of math in forever. So like learn vertices for OpenGL. The problem is my vertices are wrong. We got another sub, guys. That's crazy. We're already going up like almost another 10 subs since this morning. I appreciate you guys a lot. So let me think about this logically. I'm gonna write this down in my journal. So if we want two triangles next to each other, we probably want our first coordinate, our x coordinate, for one of them at 0.5. So we probably want this at 0.5, and then we want this at 0. Actually, no, we want this at 0.5. Our next one, we want it negative, or we want it at 0.0. And then our next one we want at 0.5. Let me think. No, we want this at 0, 0 as well. No, we want this at negative 0.5. Let's see. Ask ChatGPT for small hints. Yeah, I'm trying to see. I'm not upset with using AI, but like for this stuff, I'm trying to use my head more so that I don't over rely on AI. I think that's like one of my biggest goals with like this learning specifically is to just do my best to learn it out of like if I get stuck enough to where I'm like, okay, I'm really stuck, like I'm not, I will use AI to help me in some ways, but this is, I think I can do this. And then our next one, we want it to be at 0.5, and then negative 0.5. So let's try this. Oops. No, that's not it. Dang it. I'm trying to think of this logically, so... Well, I guess our first one is the problem. 0, 0.5. Because these vertices we're trying to make a... These original vertices are trying to make a rectangle. So, let me look at these. Negative 0.5. This should be negative. This one should be negative as well. Our next one should be 0.5. And then this should be negative. Okay, that looks better. Are those coordinated in 3D? Yeah, so actually it's not... So it is XYZ, but since we're translating the coordinates into 2D, so Z is always 0 because it doesn't have any depth. So like I think if I added like 1, I don't think it would do anything because we're not passing... Yeah, like we're not trying to pass anything. So let me comment this out. Let's see if our first triangle is correct. Yeah, our first triangle is correct. Our next triangle, let's see, so triangle 1 is good. I don't need to comment that. Our next one, we want to move it slightly to the right, so I guess we could just do like 1. So we could do like 1, 1, maybe? And then this could be 0. I don't know why this is negative, that could be a problem. And then this could just be 1. And then this could be 1, negative 1. It's really confusing how it translates all this. Okay, so we can see here, it has something, it's doing something, but I'm not getting it in the correct. Let me see. I'm gonna ask Claude. Why are my triangles not drawing right next to each other? Can you give me a hint? Is it the vertices being incorrect? Okay, I'm at the point now where I tried, so I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. Try drawing in an XY plane and then put in the points. Yeah, that's what I just did. So I have my journal right here, and I have the points for the regular triangle. So I was like, okay, what if I moved the X and Y axis and then just tried that? Yes, it's the vertices, but there are 2 issues at play. Here's the first hint. OpenGL uses NDC, must be between -1 and 0, and 1. Take a look at triangle 2's X and Y values. Are any of them sitting outside that range? I guess so. Maybe. What would you suggest I do for triangle 2? If I want it to be right next, would I just do something like 0.6? Try drawing the XY. Okay, yeah, I already read that. Dang, we got 8 people in here. I appreciate you guys being here right now. Right now I'm trying to draw 2 triangles. So, I know, it's really stupid, but like, it's really hard because OpenGL translates the points, and you can only use points between -1 and +1 because it has a normalized range. Okay, so let's see. Triangle 1's utmost value, which is 0.5, so for triangle 2 to sit right next to it, its leftmost point should start around 0.5. Okay. So our 0.5. Okay. And our leftmost point, we want it to start at 0.5. So then we're not going to go up to 1, so... And then this would be 1, and then -0.5. Okay, let's try that. Oh, look at that. Okay, so that's actually correct. We just need to move. Now we just need to move this over. So we just need to move the x-axis over, I think, if we can. No, using OpenGL is tough. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm trying to learn the basics so that I can eventually build my own text editor. That's my goal, my project. My next project is building a text editor from scratch. And I'm like, I could use like Raylib or like a graphics library that draws all the stuff for me. But I'm like, why not challenge myself with learning OpenGL? Okay, so we got our 2 triangles. We just need to move them now to get them on screen. Which I could... I think our screen size, our window size right here is down at the bottom. Where is window defined? Go to definition. Yeah, so we have 1920. We could do 1920 by 1080. And they should show up now. I think it's just that our screen is too... That is not what I wanted. What the crap? Okay, so it scaled incorrectly now. This is just funny to me, honestly, at this point. Okay, and what just happened to our... What am I doing? Oh my gosh. Okay, maybe I... Okay. -0.5. Have you used other graphics libraries as well, such as SDL2? I've actually looked into SDL2 and 3. I have like dabbled with them in the past, and they're definitely much easier for like a beginner like me. But I ain't trying to be like the rest of everybody, and that's a joke, obviously. But let's see if... I don't think the window size will do anything because it scales it to the range. Yeah, that just makes it wider. Okay, so let's just move these over completely. Use a smaller number, 0.2. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, instead of... I forget. I'm so bad at math, guys. Like, it's really embarrassing, but at the same time, like, it's something I can get better with future things. Okay, so... Let's see. Now, if I wanted them to both be visible on screen, should I use smaller values? Math is really awesome though, by the way. Like I actually love math in concept, but I'm just really bad at the execution of it. If you guys are good at math, I'm proud of you, because it's something I never did super great Okay, so we got our triangles. I'm gonna ask it if it can give me the values to get them on screen. The issue is that -1 is the very edge of the screen, so triangle 2's right side is getting clipped or sitting right on the border. So triangle 2 should, oh, okay, I see. So this should be like 0.7. I always wonder if it like scales incorrectly or something, but let's try this. Okay, so 0.7 made it look a little weirder. Okay, so we can see here it's still on screen. What about moving the first triangle over more? Yeah, so let's shift this one to the left. Guys, I understand what it's asking me to do. It's just the weird normalized range is throwing me off. Like, it's throwing me off that it's only between, like, -1 and 1. So, I'm gonna look at, until it gives me a correct answer. Okay, look at that. So that's better. I think OpenGL is a great way to fix your math. Geometry is a nice way to start math. I agree. I think, well, and here's the thing, it's not that I'm like bad with math necessarily, I just haven't done it in literally like over a year. You know, because you go throughout life or your day not really thinking about this stuff, and then I'm like, oh crap, I have to remember how to do this. So yeah, it makes sense. Like, I understand plotting and graphing, I just have forgotten, it's been a while. Okay, so we got our two triangles. So how do I make them more even? 0.25? Maybe if I use 0.25, that's a better scaling. Because they're off a little bit. Since we're... Okay, so if we use 0.25, I'm assuming it'll scale better since it's in... it's an even, essentially. Okay, so that's better. Can we make the triangles themselves small? Yeah, I agree though. I agree with you. I think OpenGL is a great way. So we can make the triangles themselves smaller, and I think that would help them show up on the screen. Yeah, look at that. Okay. So -0.3 is 0.2. Can you explain and show me the graph for how this works? I need a refresher on the trig. Maybe put an extra 0 after the decimal 0.05. Both. Okay, so we got this working. I want to do it from scratch now. So I know bear with me, but I had AI do it for me, but now if I can like make it make more sense. So like let's try -0.25, and then we can do -0.25, and then 0.0. Oh yeah, these all need to be F. So in C++, if you have a float. Okay, and so we got our graph here. You can see 0, 0, yeah, so 0, our x and y, 0, 0.5. And And if I can move this stuff, it might be a little bit better. So if I wanted them to be a little smaller, I could probably just like okay. That makes more sense. So let's just try like negative 0.25. Our next coordinate would be 0.0, and then 0.25f, and then 0.0, and then our next one would be 0.25f, and then negative 0.25, and then 0.0f. Okay, yeah, so we got our small triangle. That makes a lot more sense. We're doing good now. We're doing good. The math itself is not hard when it comes to vertices. It's the stupid normalized range that I get stuck on, because I'm like, okay, now I have to think, how do I separate these out into such smaller, like, and make them even. Okay, so now our next one, we can do triangle 2. Triangle 2. We probably could do 0.5f, or negative 0.5f, and we could just up that by... This just makes it easier for me, personally, doing it like this. And then this can be 0.0f, 0.5f, 0.0f. Alright, my Pomodoro went off. I'm gonna set it for 5 more minutes so I can work a couple more minutes because I'm in the zone. Now we'll do 0.5f, negative 0.5f, and then 0.0f. And this could totally be wrong, but let's try it. I can understand why that's not working. Let's go even smaller. Let's do 0.10. The bigger triangle is on top of the smaller one, I guess. Yeah. You're right, yeah, you're totally right. It's overlapping it because it's smaller. Oh, let me think. So it's not the triangle one that's the problem. I think it's... This still needs to be... This, the actual... This just needs to be 0.25. It just needs to be moved over slightly. So for this, maybe we could just do negative 0.5. So the x value is not negative 0.25. For the second triangle. Yeah, you're right. It's positive. you're right. You're totally right. That would be negative. Or no, this would be positive. This would be negative. And then this would be positive. We could do that. Oh wait, no, not 2.5, 0.25 we need to do. We can just do like 0.3. 0.2. It's easier to not use, probably to not use like another decimal point. We do 5, and then this can be 2. I don't know, the second triangle is just getting me stuck. I don't know why, it's so dumb. But it's, I'm practicing. Negative 0.25 for the second triangle. Okay, I'll try that. Our second triangle is going to be, let's think about this. So our first one, where is my, there we go. Okay, our first triangle. This is my computer's bugging a little bit. Rest was fine. Yeah. One sec, my computer's deciding to get upset. There we go. Okay, let's make this again. Okay. Now let's think about it this way. This one is, our first one is negative. Oh, okay. Here's my problem. I'm looking at it the wrong way. So this is the left. This is the bottom left. This will help me understand it better. Bottom left. This is the top. And then this is the bottom right. Now, if we want our second triangle, we want it to be on the bottom right, so it would start at positive 0.25 F, and then the next, and then it would be at negative 0.25 F, and then this would be 0.0 F. Okay, it's starting to get it now. So this is the bottom left, and then this would be the top, so this would be over to the right. So this would be 0. Let's see. This would be 0.5 F, and it would be the same height. let's think. No, this would be 0.25f. And then it would be our y coordinate would be the same. And then 0.0. And then our last one, so this is for the top. And then our bottom right will be 0.5. And then negative 0.25. And then 0.0. Also, this needs to be decimal. Okay, and that I might be wrong in the 0.5, but let's try that. Okay, so that's close. So that's a lot better. This means we need to move. Let's see. This is all fine. Let's think about this again. The bottom left of the next one is in the right place. The top right needs to be over more, I think. Nope, that's up too much. I think this top and bottom right need to move. Yeah. Oh, I didn't put a F after that. Oh, that didn't. Okay, let's see. I'm thinking through it. I know it's really stupid, but like, I'm starting to get it. Okay. Our bottom left starts at over the right, positive 0.25. And our y is at negative 0.25. Okay. Our top should be at the same. Our y should be at the same. So our y should be 0.25. That's correct. It needs to move over though. Okay, that's better. And then our bottom right actually needs to go nope, not that. Sorry, not 1.25. Our bottom right would need to be at 0.5. This could be, instead of 0.5, it could be like 0.3. Okay, that's better, that's better. 0.75, yeah, I agree, okay, so yeah. And then our right would be 0.75. And then this, our x for this should just be 0.25. Look at that. Okay. We did that. We did it. So that, yeah, that makes sense. So we're scaling it up by 0.25. And so it's going over more for each corner. So that makes a lot more sense. Okay, so we did that. I'm glad that I took the time to like try it by hand, because it's so stupid, but like something that simple is really, really good practice to try. Thank you, I appreciate that. Do I say your name Viomi? Is that okay? Or is it Biomi? I hope I said that right. Okay, so our first exercise is done. Okay, so that's really nice. We got our first exercise done. check that off. Our next exercise is now create the same two triangles using two different VAOs and VBOs for their data. Okay, so that's a lot. I think I can do this. Okay. Using two different VAOs. And VBOs for their data. Okay. By the way, Discord doesn't work. Oh, okay, let me fix that really quick. I can also paste it in the chat if that helps. I appreciate you pointing that out. Okay, so anyone who just joined, we got two triangles. Which is actually really satisfying, but it was stupid because I was trying to get them more, like, I could probably do something like put this at 0.0 and then this at negative 0.25 and then this is 0. Okay, let me move this. Oh wait, no, never mind. Because that's just going to make it go off screen. That's fine. I'm going to leave it as it is. It's probably fine. As long as we've got two triangles next to each other, that's all I care about. Okay, let's get my server. Invite to server. Okay, there we go. It's not stupid. 0.5 is a weird number to see. Yeah, you're right. Okay, there's the Discord. I'm gonna update it in the description as well. Okay. Let me know if that worked. Hopefully that worked well. Hey, how's it going? Okay, I think I saw you join. Okay. Let's get these exercises done then. Okay, now create the same two triangles using two different VAOs and VBOs. Okay. So now we know that where the vertices are, so we just need to create this. So we probably want to store this triangle in a new. I'll just call this, instead of vertices, I'll just call it triangle 2. And now, this needs to have that after that. Okay, our shaders are fine. Or we'll have VAO1, VBO1. And we can do VAO2 and VBO2. And then this can be our first one. And then we want to do the same thing for our second one. this will be triangle 1. And then this will be triangle 1. And then we basically just need to do the same thing for triangle 2. So BBO2, BBO2, triangle 2, triangle 2. I think that's fine. Okay, so now we need to bind our vertex array, so we have VAO1, and I think we need to do the same for VAO2. I wonder if we can just pass 2. No, we need to do we need to call it twice. Hey, how's it going, Dev? M4T44. I'll just call you Dev. That works. Thank you for coming in today's stream. I am learning OpenGL, and it's a weird journey, that's for sure. Okay, so we got one triangle drawing. So let's see what our problem is. So we got both of these being generated or binded. I'm assuming this needs to be, our vertex attributes need to be set for this one as well. And since, what are you trying to make? So right now I'm just following the tutorial for OpenGL, which is making a triangle. I know that's really stupid, but I'm literally drawing a triangle using shaders, which is really funny, but it is really interesting, and I eventually want to make a text editor. So I want to make something like a graphics text editor, something interactable eventually. But right now I'm learning the basics and it's pretty tough, I won't lie. I actually don't think I need to create a new... I think I just need to expand this range maybe. No, wait, no, that's incorrect. Because our vertex is only taking, it wouldn't be 3 because we're passing in a, let's see, what's it called? It's, our shader takes it's passing in a vec4, so we can't change the size of the vec4. Okay, so we got one triangle drawing. Our first triangle, the problem is I think is VAO1 isn't drawing, because our VAO2 is. Do you know anything about Unity? I do. I've used a little bit of Unity. Actually, let me show you. I've used Godot mainly. I prefer Godot because it's lightweight and it's a lot simpler. None of my projects are showing up, of course, but I made a Space Invaders clone, and I love using engines for that stuff for sure. I don't think it's simple without using any graphics library. Yeah, I think if I just did it all from scratch in OpenGL, it would literally be the stupidest waste of time, probably. Not stupid, but it would take forever. So I think that's why I'm going to use OpenGL, probably with... actually, I was looking at this. I'm using that with GTK. So GTK would be better because it lets you add buttons and stuff. So I just basically need to render the background with OpenGL, and then I can add the buttons with GTK and all that, and the UI elements. So I think that's pretty cool. So I mean, you can see right here there's like a bunch of different stuff I can try. Also, thank you guys for subbing. I'm very new. I started yesterday. It's hard because all the videos I find are out of date and I can't even make my thing fall in 2D. Oh, okay. So are you starting game development? Are you trying to make a game in Unity? Is that what you're saying? I can probably help guide you in the right direction for that. My biggest thing would be you need to set an object. So you have your object for like your character, for example. So what's the way I can draw it? Whiteboard maybe? I don't know if I can draw on here. Let's see. Trying to make a game in Unity and it said to turn off. Maybe that's not a good example. Let me undo that. So like let's say we have our character and our character has a bunch of attributes. So like let's say we have a blueprint of like my height, my weight, my hair color, and any other attributes you could think of adding. So the biggest thing with making something fall, if you want to think about this in math-wise, is obviously gravity effects is based on our weight. Gravity itself is a constant, which is something that you can set in Unity, I think. So gravity is whatever the number is. You can just say it scribbles. And then we want to essentially say to make something fall, we want to assign let's see, I'm trying to think of this in a way to easily explain this. Obviously we want our character to fall based off of this value. And so we need to assign our weight according to gravity. So, how to make a character fall in Unity. So, I think in Unity it has its own built-in gravity function. I'm talking about stupid things, but we have an update function. I get this. I get what it's saying now. An update function would allow us to. Also, forgive my drawing, it's really bad. It updates every frame, so like let's say our frame updates every 1 second, meaning every time the program is running 1 second passes, that means that something is calculating to go on the screen every 1 second. It's way less than that typically, but basically this is saying, hey, if we're pressing the up button with the space bar, and then we call is grounded, meaning, hey, we're checking if our character is on the ground. Let me zoom in here more. So let's say if input.key is down, so S. So if we're pressing S and we're on the ground, then we will start a coroutine, which means we're going to fall through. Our fall through is a function. This is just an example it's giving me. Our fall through is going to have a function which sets a bunch of these attributes that I talked about, like weight. We can pass in our weight, so let's say if our weight makes us fall faster, then we would pass our weight to one of these methods, and it would affect that. But I would say the biggest thing you want to have is like a collider to check where the ground is at. So our collider is basically going to be the ground itself, the plane, and it's going to have a value that is going to essentially be a border that you can't pass through. So I know I can't explain this super well because I'm not in game development, but basically we're going to have two different functions, one for updating every second when we press the key, and then the next one is going to have a fall through function or something to say that we're falling. I guess my main point is you probably want to look up on YouTube like
how to make something jump up and down. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Let's see. If you're starting out, then try to learn Godot. So many tutorials for it, and it's very intuitive once you get the hang of it. Just don't go tutorial jumping. I agree with what he's saying here because Godot is much simpler than Unity when it comes to holding your hand. Like, let's say you really want to get into game development, but you don't want to, like, you want to get good at a good pace. Don't go with Unity, in my opinion, just because Godot has so much more awesome people that are gonna have better tutorials. Let me find this. I actually did a tutorial that really helped me, Godot, because I actually did learn this in the past. So this one right here by Brackies, I think. Yeah. Do the whole tutorial and you will learn everything you need to do. And yes, Godot uses C#. You can, let me open it right now actually. You can use C#, so it actually has GD script, which is like Python, but it can also use the .NET version. So if you go to, I have the .NET version installed, but you just have to basically say Godot install. So when you go install Godot, you see that there's a .NET version, and that means you can code with C#. And so it's actually really nice. So I don't know if you're on Windows or Mac or whatever, but I'll send this over in the chat. And pick the .NET version if you really want to use C#. I will say GD script is pretty easy. It's like Python. Is it as annoying? No, it's actually super simple. Unity takes up like 5 gigs or more on your system. Godot takes up like 300 megs. So it's open source as well. Yeah, you literally just click install. So Godot is really nice because it's open source, so meaning everything that if you make something and it makes money, all of your money will go to you and none of it will go to Unity. Whereas Unity, if it makes over like $1 million, I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, obviously, but like they will take a percentage. So stick with Godot because the community is better. It's got way more support. It's actually getting really good at making games, and I'm gonna say that I'm assuming this is your first game, so you're probably not gonna be doing anything super complex. So start with Godot, and if you need more power, Unity or Unreal might be there for you. But where do I go to download a Windows version? Oh, I got you. One sec. Also, this is on Linux. There you go. It's basically just download and then the Windows version. And then download the .NET version if you want to use C#. Okay. Okay, where were we? I got distracted, which is fine. But yeah, do Godot, you'll save yourself a lot of effort and time, and you'll be happier. And I apologize if my example wasn't very clear. What I was trying to say is, like, if you want to have an attribute affect an object, such as like gravity, you want to use objects, which, yeah, it's a lot of different complicated things that connect to each other. I would have like a gravity class that deals with those methods and all that. But anyways, okay. So let's go back into Claude and see. Okay, now I need to make both triangles with 2 VBOs and VAOs. How am I doing so far? Also, thank you guys. This has been a great stream. I've had a lot more interactive people in here. We're at 110 subs. That's freaking awesome. Okay, so I extracted all the files, and now Godot is just asking for new projects. Yeah, so I'll go through this with you really quick because I love Godot, and I think helping you. So on mine it might be different, but since I'm on Mac. But if you look at my screen, we have create. So we can say like our project, let's call it like my first game or something, and then it can go in whatever folder you want it to. If you want it for mobile only, click mobile. Compatibility is basically for like really old devices. If you want it to work on older stuff, just do forward plus because it's the best. If you want to use version control, meaning you want to keep track of different versions of your project, use git. It's the best. And then you just press create. Hopefully you're sticking with me. And now my computer's just rendering it in the back, or starting up the project. So one sec. My MacBook is great, but it doesn't do a great job at making everything all at once. Like if I'm running too much stuff, like I'm streaming and running a bunch of stuff in the background, so it might take a sec. You got in, awesome. Yeah, so once I'm into, I'll show you really quick. Follow that tutorial, man. It might be an older version, so look in the comments to see if there's any pinned versions for newer versions, but it should be fine. But basically, if you're making a 2D game, you start with a 2D scene. If you're making a 3D game, start with a 3D scene, etc. And then all of your files go down here. So like, I typically like to do like assets, so like our sprites, and then I do a folder for like scripts, so the stuff that the programs or the code files, and then I would have like sounds for the music, and sounds could even go in assets, and then I would also have a scenes folder. So with game programming, you use scenes to keep track of different states of your game. So yeah, I'm gonna stop it there for the Godot stuff. I appreciate you asking questions. It's fun to help where I can. Okay, good start. Splitting into two arrays is the right idea. But there are a couple issues in the setup and render loop. You bind VAO1 and then immediately bind VAO2 before attaching VBO1 to it. VAO1 never gets properly configured. Each VAO needs its VBO bounded vertex attribute set while that VAO is active. Render loop problem. You bind VAO1 right away, then bind VAO2, so it gets overwritten. Okay, so we need to bind it after, so we draw and then we bind. That makes sense. Okay, and then, so our VAO1 setup, we need to do all this stuff with VAO1 first and VBO1. And then we do the stuff with VBO 2 and 1. So that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, that should work now. Didn't work. Alright. Godot is more complex than Unity. Thank you, I helped only because my math teacher said Godot is more complex than, Godot is more complex than Unity. I disagree. I think Godot is a lot simpler because there's more tools. Unity is more industry standard, and I won't lie that like they're both good, but I think that Godot is way more beginner friendly because there's great tutorials out there, and I'm sure that Naomi would probably agree. So, yeah. Okay, so Oh, that makes sense. So since these are both 3, these are both 0, 3, it's not changing the indices. Okay, so that first one drew, or the second one, I guess. Let's see. So let's delete this and delete that. Okay, and now let's see. We got train VBO VA1 set up, so set up. So we're creating and binding it to the buffer, and then we're doing the same thing. Let's see. GL array buffer. What about gen buffers? Let's see. I'll maybe try, but I don't know. I have a bit to go, like coding and developing and stuff. Okay, I mean, it's up to you, man. I think Godot is just easier, but like, at the same time, if your teacher's saying use Unity, like, there's definitely a lot of tutorials. I would just say, like, don't just ask AI, like, learn it and spend the time to do it. You'll be happier. And you'll understand a lot more. Okay, so our VAO1 setup. We have 1, and then we have our. Oh, I see. Okay, so this, we need to do this for both of them. So we need to unbind and bind them both. Okay, so that makes a lot more sense. It should work. Yay, there we go. We did it. Okay, so second one is done since we used two. We used two VBOs and VAOs. Makes sense. So our VAO essentially generates our vertex arrays and binds them, and then our VBO is generating the buffer. We pass in the buffer type and all that data, and then we set our pointer, and then our array, and then we bind it, and then yeah, we just do that for both of them. Okay, so I'm just gonna push this and say 2 triangles using 2 VAOs and VBOs. Let's see. I was on another coding stream and someone had a portfolio, but it said he uses AI but has a master's degree and 2 years of experience. His code was clean, but he still uses a bit of AI. I don't think using AI is bad. Like, I'm using it right now to help explain stuff to me. I'm just saying that if you're gonna present yourself to a company and say, hey, I know how to engineer, you should know how to code. I'm finishing up my last semester as a software engineering major, and it's really important to know that, like, how to explain your thoughts. So, like, I was trying to explain to you how I thought gravity worked. Someone else could have a way more efficient solution. It's just an argument that could be arbitrary depending on where you're coming from. Like, I could have my point of view, someone else could have theirs. that's the same thing with AI. Some people can be way more efficient with AI and get the work done, but they're also cutting themselves out on like the hard work. I think that AI is great for helping do some of the tasks that waste time, but it's not worth cutting the tasks that need more time and attention, because then you're just shortcutting your learning in a lot of ways. But yeah. Anyways, let's finish this last exercise and then I gotta go to work on homework. Okay. Create two shader programs where the second program uses a different fragment shader that outputs the color yellow. Both triangles again where one outputs. Draw both triangles again where one outputs the color yellow. Okay, so create two shader programs. Where the second program uses a different fragment shader. That outputs the color yellow. Both triangles again where one is yellow. Okay. Am I wrong? When I can't figure something out, I'll Google for it and it still doesn't work. I'll play around with it instead of asking someone. So I'm problem solving in a way. Yeah, I think here's my idea of learning in a nutshell. I think that you have a hypothesis or a question, you pose a question, and then you come up with a plan, essentially. This might not be the correct order, but you essentially want to have a question, have a plan to how to answer that question, and that could involve like writing stuff down, that could involve researching and looking stuff up, and then you want to collect your results, and then you want to propose or prose a solution, and then you kind of want to reiterate through that process a few times. I think with learning, it's arbitrary depending on the person. So like, some people can learn by watching videos. I personally have to, if I'm going to watch a video, I have to go really slow and write things down. I take things super literally. I think the best way to learn is just building. So like, you're not going to learn how to do something unless you sit down and you learn what you're doing and you build it and you try it. Like for me, I just spent like 35 minutes trying to draw a stupid triangle and get the indices or the vertex coordinates right, and it's stupid in a way, but it was awesome because I learned. Anyways, let's do a second shader program. So we need to first create a different fragment shader. So we'll do our second fragment shader. And then we want our color to be yellow, so RGBA for yellow. It's 255, 255, 0, and 1. So in what's the word? Our fragment shader, our NDC, and NDC. No, not NDC, in yeah, NDC. Alright, I think I'm gonna start, but I'll definitely come back. And I subbed, so bye, and thank you for helping me. Yeah, of course. Hey, thank you for subscribing, and thank you for showing up and asking questions. I'm here to help where I can. Yeah. Okay, so our values are gonna be 1, 1. So 255, 255, 0. So 250, yeah, 255. 1 is 255 essentially. So now we need to make our fragment shader number 2. So this can be fragment shader 1. And then this is fragment shader 2. And then this will be fragment shader 2. And then fragment shader 2. And then this will take our fragment source 2. And then compile fragment shader 2, fragment shader 2. Okay, and that should be good. So we created our fragment shader. Now we need to make a shader program for our second shader program for our second triangle. So our GL create program, so we'll just call this shader program 2. And then we'll pass our shader program 2. We'll use the same vertex shader. And fragment shader 2, shader program 2. I know it's kind of stupid to use a bunch of 2's, but it works. And then that'll check it fails. And then vertex shader, and then we'll delete our fragment shader 2. And then now we want to GL use shader program 2. So we need to use our, I'm assuming this is called right before that, so yeah, we did it. I figured that out pretty fast. I'm proud of myself on that one. So we have 2 shader programs. One's our fragment shader 1 has the color orange and the second one has yellow. We did it. Okay, so I did the practice problems. I learned a lot. That was really great. Okay, so we finished both of them, which is awesome. So use 2 shader programs and a new fragment shader to have 2 different colored triangles. Okay. I think I'm gonna probably end stream here, guys. But we finished the first lesson completely now, like with the practice problems, which is really, really great, and it feels awesome. The next thing that I'm gonna work on tomorrow, probably, let's see. Tomorrow we are gonna be back and we're gonna be working on, I'm assuming our next thing is we're gonna be doing, okay, more shaders. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so tomorrow we'll work on shaders. When is next stream? Can you give me the time? That's a really good question. I'm gonna shoot for, I'll try and say 7 p.m. tomorrow night, but like I streamed early today, so it could be earlier. So tomorrow afternoon at some point. How about this? I'll announce in Discord if that's easier. And I'll send an announcement if that works. That way you know. Let me know what you think of Just curious, what do you think of the stream today? Was it helpful at all, and did you like it at all? I just want to make sure if anyone has any, if you have any feedback for me, let me know. Nice stream. I liked how you problem solved. Hey, thank you. I learned a lot actually, and you sat with me and you sat with me and helped me learn how to draw a triangle and coordinate that. So that was fun. By the way, how did you think of streaming your learning process? I think it's been great. I've been doing it for about 3 months now, and streaming has actually been an awesome way for me to also practice talking, like communicating and getting my thoughts out. I think software developers specifically don't talk a lot because they're coding, but I get to talk to you guys and see you in the chat, talk and communicate, and talk about my thought process. And then when I'm wrong, I'm like, oh, okay, I can think about it this way now. So, yeah, it's a really great way for me to learn and grow, not only as a programmer but as a person. So, I appreciate that. I feel very embarrassed showing how I learn. That's understandable. I appreciate that is like being vulnerable, and that's really good, and I appreciate you being vulnerable and talking to me about that. Don't be embarrassed. I think that everybody learns differently. I'm not perfect by any means. I know the bare minimum in some ways, but I know enough to get by, but it's hard. It's still difficult. So yeah. Guys, we got another sub. Thank you guys for subbing, and you are cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're very kind. I think I'm gonna end stream. Oh, okay. Here, let me turn up my volume. Okay. This might be too loud now, but let me know. How does that sound? How does that sound? I don't know how to say your name. It sounds funny. How is college? College is good. It's hard because I was in person on campus, and now I'm finishing online because I moved across states. So it's kind of difficult to not be in a class with a teacher or a professor and like other students around me. Better, definitely not too loud. Okay, awesome. Welcome to the stream. I think you kind of got here right at the tail end of it. I'm sorry about that. The stream should be uploaded shortly after if you want to go through it. I actually just released a video too, just saying thank you for my 100 subs. I reached 100 subs this morning actually, and we're already at 112, which is like I'm going up like crazy now. Yeah, I've been learning OpenGL, which has been fun. But yeah, college is good. I'm learning an algorithms class right now that's really difficult, and like I honestly don't think I'm gonna have the time right now with where I'm at in my life to fully learn it and understand it. I'm gonna have to kind of go back and do it in my own time. And I could be doing that right now, but like it's not really what I want to be doing. Like I do the bare minimum, and that's kind of frustrating, but also I don't want to like put too much on my plate. So yeah, I could be doing better in some ways, but it's not too bad. I'll hang around for one more minute, and then I'm probably gonna end the stream, and I gotta go work on some C# homework, so that'll be fun. and I also got to do some other homework for different classes because I'm taking a bunch of different classes. If you guys have any feedback or suggestions for the stream, let me know. Like whether it be sound, music, thumbnails, editing, all of that, let me know. I want to get better at having more quality in my streams. And I know the mic quality is not great, but it's kind of the best I got. I will start college next year. Hey, congrats. Good job on preparing before you go. Like, seriously, like, I kind of regret not taking more time to learn things before going into college, so keep working hard. It's worth it, and you will appreciate the work and the hard work you put in. I'm a senior, so I'm it's kind of embarrassing I didn't know how to do vertex math. But it's like I haven't done math in so long. I took all my math classes like my freshman and sophomore years, so yeah, I kind of want to go back and do a refresher on like Khan Academy or something. I appreciate you guys subscribing and being here today. Thank you for joining the stream and being so kind and also engaging with me. It's really nice to have people to talk to now. I haven't been like in a stream for a while, like when I've streamed where I've had people to actually like talk to, because I've been so focused on learning, obviously, but like I never look at the chat and see anybody in there, so it's really cool to like have people in here now. Yeah. Thanks for the stream. Hey, yeah, have a good one. I will be back tomorrow. We just got another subscriber. This is crazy to me. I'm kind of losing it with like joy and happiness because I'm getting people to come and watch my content. So, and that's not because I want all these views. It's because I get to have people come and hang out and interact with me, and I think that's awesome. So, yeah, thank you guys. I think I'm gonna end stream today, and I will be back tomorrow. And join the Discord in the description for if you want announcements. Maybe I won't miss the next one. Yeah, feel free to jump in. I'll make some videos. I should be back tomorrow afternoon. So join the Discord and you'll get an announcement of when I'm going to stream. So yeah, I'm going to end the stream now. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you. See ya.